let me ask you this. Why is it difficult for you guys? You guys. Why is it difficult for you guys that are Black Americans to identify with Africa? And again, do you think the media perception of Africa as very poor, very uncivilized? Because if you watch the movie, the gods must be crazy. Or some old movie, even coming to America stuff. So most of the movies they made then in the portrayal of Africa, and even the media portray Africa as very uncivilized and everything. So because of that, most Black Americans are not willing to identify their ancestry to Africa.
Right.
Does it say that so?
I agree.
Okay.
And this is definitely something that I've seen as a kid too. And I hate how the media portrays this, because I've had the same thinking for a very long time until I got older, got more access to the internet, and started doing my own research. So when I was a kid, I used to believe this as well. Like, man, African people, they live in huts. They don't have any running water. Like, how do they survive? And I'm here thinking like this, and now I'm understanding like, okay, now I see why the African kids are trying to hide their culture, right? I understand that. Now I see why other Black people are trying to be like, no, I know black, I'm Dominican, or I'm Trinidadian, or, you know, they try to separate themselves. They try to separate themselves from being considered African because of what we see in the media. And it's like in schools as well, in our textbooks, you see pictures of African, and the only pictures you're ever seeing is these little hungry children with like ashiness on their face and the little beady hair, and it's like, that's what our perception of Africa was. So I was just thinking as a kid, like, wow, like, you know, I feel lucky, you know, to live in America. Like, okay, we have running water. I live in a house, right? But then I remember as a kid, my grandma also used to donate to, I think it's called World Vision, where they donated to the kids in Africa. So every, I gotta laugh about this, man. She used to donate little, like, 25 cents a month or something. As a kid, I used to think, wow, we're really helping out those kids. I really used to think, like, wow, we're such good people, man. We're helping them kids. And then I got older, and as I'm doing like research and I'm looking, because, you know, a lot of these people, like, as time went on, people in America started to become more pro-Black. I don't know what triggered that type of response from Black people, but everybody's like pro-Black now. I only date Black people. I only know Black people. You know, everything is just Black people, Black people. And it was to a point where people, Black American people, started identifying as African, right? So it's like all of a sudden you're identifying as African, but when you were a kid, you're just like, even if your cultural ties truly were African and you were like Nigerian American or something like that, you wanted to pretend like you were from somewhere else, but now all of a sudden it's like, no, I'm Nigerian and I'm proud. Like, okay, that's good, right? Start recognizing your culture. But it's like, people started wanting to take trips to Africa now. So it's just like, I'm curious. I'm like, okay, all of a sudden everybody's going to Ghana, everybody's going to Nigeria, everybody's traveling to Africa. So when I look at pictures of Africa myself, I'm like, wait a minute. These are cities.
You know, so I saw a video online where a child was saying she can eat, a Black American woman. Or not a Black American. I think Black American. There are two different versions. So the child who doesn't want to eat, and the mother said, "Eat your food. Don't you know that kids in Africa don't have food?"
I heard the same thing as a kid. There's children in Africa that are starving. Don't waste your food.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And it's like, honestly speaking, though, there are some times where I still get, even at my grown age, I still get that thought sometimes, like, damn, like, I'm having too much food waste. Like, no, there are people. But here's the thing, though. I don't generate this thought or associate this thought with Africa anymore. When I was a kid, I used to be like, no, like, there's children in Africa that are starving. Like, let me eat my food. I have to eat everything. But now that I'm older, it's just like, there's children everywhere in the globe that's starving. So it's like, let me not waste my food because there are children out there that are hungry. I don't say, no, there's children in specifically Africa. No, I say there's children out there.
You know, let me tell you this. One of the things that have projected a bad image of Africa is not only the media, but the NGOs. You know, like something like similar to Red Cross or something like that. You see that when people tell story of Africa, people don't use their brains anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can tell a group of Caucasian people or white people that are seated here, sitting in front of me, that in the morning I have a lion in my home, and they will actually believe me.
Yeah.
Because everything coming from Africa is seen as very, very possible.
Yep.
Yeah. So that kind of thinking people have. You watch, people do, if you watch CNN these days, people do adverts on CNN of this child is from Africa, they are suffering, send money to blah 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 blah. You see that
Yes.
on CNN, on national television. The question that people don't ask is, this organization has the money to do an ad on an international television, costing thousands of dollars
To do this broadcast.
to do this broadcast, to tell you to donate.
Hey.
Why can't they use that money
Exactly.
that they did, that they used to do the ad, into giving to people?
Thank you.
It's just typically a business.
Thank
You know, most of the most profiting businesses that you can do now is NGO.
Yeah.
Project picture of Africa, that Africa is suffering, and put it out there and request money from people. People will be donating,
Yep.
thinking they're donating to Africans.
Yep.
Recently, I saw, like, let's say Korean government donates $10 million to Africa to fight the food crisis. Then, so I was like laughing. I said, "Oh, there is one man somewhere has collected this money." And just like you said, your grandma. Yeah. So she's thinking that she is helping kids somewhere, but might be that it would be someone that is using the name of NGO to collect those names. I'm not saying that there are no kids suffering in Africa. Of course, there are kids suffering in Africa.
Yeah.
There are bad things in Africa. There are places that environmental crisis, like, what I mean environmental crisis, like facing droughts and some other regions, there are some places, just like everywhere. You understand? So that is flood. Last year, there was flood here that almost blocked everywhere. You know how many times hurricanes have hit, have destroyed some cities in America. Those are some disasters that occur. But African disasters are always attached to poverty.
Right.
When they have droughts, they feel, oh, that's poverty. Places in Africa don't have water. You understand? But when America is being hit by hurricane, they don't attach to anything. So I'm not saying there are places in Africa that are very good, there are places in Africa that are very bad, but the media projection of Africa is not what is supposed to be.
Right. And that's what really disappoints me too, because I don't think you can imagine the shock that I truly felt when I actually went out of my way to see what cities in Africa really look like, searching like real online images from people living in Africa and stuff like that, and seeing like, yo, these people are living in cities just like me. It's like they have cars. You see, like, anytime I see an African person building a house, it looks like a mansion.
Very.
And it's just like, yo, if I'm going to be very honest with you, they got us American people looking real poor and in poverty right now. I'm like, y'all building these beautiful mansions and the interior decorating and all this stuff. And I'm just like, yo.
You know, I'll tell you this. When I first came to Korea, even Koreans have this impression of Africans as very, very uncivilized and very poor state and everything. So people from Africans were finding it difficult to identify themselves as Africans. Like, when I first came to Korea, you go to a pub and you see someone asking someone, they ask someone, oh, where are you from? Someone that I know that is African. They say, I'm from the American.
Hey.
So they say, oh, you're from America, and every other thing. So I noticed that whenever you say you're from Nigeria, you're from Africa, they kind of turn around. They don't kind of want to associate with you.
Yeah.
So, and I asked someone, why are you saying that you're American? You're not American. You're from Nigeria. Why are you saying that? He said, guy, you shouldn't do that.
Hey.
That's the way you get people. Like, he wanted to talk to some girls. So that's the way you get these girls. Instead, you have to tell them that I told him there is no way I can deny my identity
Right.
just because I want to please someone.
Be someone, right?
Yeah.
Please.
And I've noticed, even me, I've noticed that kind of thing, that people, when you tell them that you're from Africa, they kind of, if they wanted to associate with you, they kind of withdrew because of the already perception they already have about Africa.
Right.
And I said, oh, I'm doing the more. Now, if I'm introducing myself, I'm saying, my name is this, I'm from Nigeria, and I introduce if you're gonna get out, get out.
Exactly. Get out now.
Get out now, because I cannot hide my identity
Exactly.
just because I want to please you.
Just
But many
fit
people, we Africans as well, many Africans do it when they go abroad because they don't want to associate with the already
Yeah.
perceived view people have
Right.
about Africa. They don't want to associate with that.